Man, what a card, what a weekend. UFC 300 lived up to all the hype, and I am so excited to talk about it. I know that 2 out of 5 of my bets did not hit, but that's okay. This is why it's called bad corner advice. I warned you. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. The early prelims and the prelims were all great as well. I was locked in all day. So many iconic moments came out of this, and a lot of fights are being announced for 303, 301, 302, etc. We'll talk about all that as well. And coming up this weekend, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia are going to be facing off, and we'll get into that on this episode of Bad Corner Advice. But like I said, let's get to UFC 300, the main card. This is one of my bets that hit. Bo Nickel by submission over Cody Brundage. I mean, this was not a fight that I was really looking forward to. I don't think a whole lot of people were. Bo Nickel, this was a gimme fight for him. You know, like, I really feel like the UFC is trying to prop him up and give him these fights where he's now 6-0. And I mentioned that all of his wins were in the first round. Cody Brundage actually took him to the second, so good on him. Wasn't a total can of tomatoes, but yes, not really much else to say. Thank you for letting that bet hit. Bo Nickel was the minus 1450 favorite. He better have won that fight. And I saw him say something absolutely ridiculous the other day, that in the future he's going to fight for a title and he's going to be like a minus 5,000 favorite. And I'm just like, let's relax. Let's fight actual competition and see where that gets us. And speaking of submissions and people that are good at grappling, Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan, this one did not hit. I think if the fight was 5 rounds, it would have hit. I think Charles Oliveira completely dominated that first round, and I was kind of... Arman Tsarukyan did do a pretty good job on defense, but he did have a hard time grappling. It's just not as elite as Charles Oliveira's grappling is. One of the best on the ground. But I will say Arman Tsarukyan did look really good, and I was very impressed by him, and I'm excited to see him fight other people. And looking at the scorecards, this fight really could have gone either way, and man, I just really thought that Charles had this one, and I see a lot of people saying like, oh, he's done, he needs to retire, he's not in the mix anymore. That is not true. Arman Tsarukyan is a good fighter, and looking at the scorecards, it was scored 29-28 round 1 to Charles, and then 28-29 round 2, 28-29 round 3, so it really could have gone either way. And if you're asking me, feel like Charles should have won that one, but maybe I'm just salty, and maybe I'm just like a huge fan of Charles and I'm letting that get to me. But I do like Arman Tsarukyan as well. Now to the fight that shook the world, the fight that everybody's talking about, the fight that is all over my social media page. I cannot, and it's so sad because I don't know. I'm a fan of both of these fighters. I mentioned it in the last episode. I'm a huge fan of Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway. I'm talking about the fight for the BMF title. We've got a new BMF, Max Holloway. And after that performance on Saturday, nobody could tell anybody that he's not a BMF. Like, stand there and bang to Justin Gaethje is insane. First of all, like, you are crazy. You gotta have a little bit of psycho in you to be a BMF, like Nate Diaz. And like Justin Gaethje, he is psycho too. He says some psychotic stuff at the press conference. Like, he was like, I don't usually plan on being alive the next day, so hopefully I'm here on Sunday. And bruh, you got your shit rocked. And it was so sad to watch. I was gonna be sad either way. I was gonna be sad if let me go back. This bet did not hit for me either. I thought Justin Gaethje was going to win this one by KO, because if anybody can knock out Max Holloway, I thought it'd be Justin Gaethje. But getting your nose broken in the first round, yeah, that's going to have an effect on your fight game. But I just remember, like, I was watching and I'm like, just get through this round, Justin, get through. You got 2 minutes left, get through it. And then I'm just like, even though Max looked so much better than I thought, I was completely wrong. I was like, I don't know if he's great at 155. He's great at 155. Max Holloway looked amazing. And he dominated most of that fight. And the whole time I'm like, Justin still has a chance. Justin still has a chance, because Again, if anybody's going to knock out Max Holloway, it would be Justin Gaethje. Obviously, that did not happen. And that last second where Max Holloway knocked Justin Gaethje out, it was so sad to see Justin Gaethje go down like that, but it was also super badass at the same time. So very mixed emotions there. At this point, give Max whoever he wants. If he wants to fight Topuria, give him Topuria. And I feel like, I don't know, it's weird because Ilia Topuria, like, Sean O'Malley called out Ilia Topuria, and Topuria kind of was like, man, you got somebody else to take care of before I can even get a shot at you. And his response to Max Holloway was that hopefully they'll share the octagon by the end of the year. And honestly, to me, it looked like Ilia was kind of scared of Max Holloway. And I really don't think that Ilia Topuria wants that smoke, because did you see what he just did to Justin Gaethje? He is going to whoop your ass. And I don't know. I'm super impressed. Like I said, if you go back and listen, I was convincing myself while talking about it to go against my bet on Justin Gaethje and bet it on Max Holloway, but I just didn't have that much confidence in him, and I was completely wrong about that. So I guess let's see if we see Holloway versus Topuria sometime before the end of 2024, and I would really be looking forward to that fight. Right now for the co-main event, Zhang Weili versus Yan Xiaonan, that was just a wild ass fight. That girl was asleep. She was literally asleep in that submission. Had to I don't know. It's like she took a nap and then woke up a new woman. And I saw this tweet the other day and it was so funny. It was like, Zhang Weili is the first UFC fighter I've seen win by submission, TKO, and decision. And I'm like, that is insane. I don't know how, I mean, Yan Xiaonan is tough as nails for that, because I don't know how you get slept, literally are asleep, passed out in the first round and come back and actually give Zhang Weili a run for her money. It was just crazy. Never seen anything like it. And I almost skipped that fight. I talked about it earlier, but like the women's division, it just to me is not as interesting or entertaining. But I will say that fight was just mind-blowing. And now, Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. I mean, they don't call him Poatan for nothing. Like, that man has stone hands for real. And not only that, he evaded the Drake curse. Drake put money on Alex Pereira, and Alex Pereira still won that fight. So, I don't know what kind of Brazilian magic Alex Pereira has going on, but you beat the Drake curse and you beat Jamal Hill in stunning fashion. We all knew it was going to be a knockout. I honestly didn't think it'd be that fast, but typical Alex Pereira, you know? And of course, everybody knows, just so funny that he waved off the ref and immediately knocked out Jamal Hill after that. But yes, great card, amazing weekend, really, really good for the sport. I'm really excited to see where the UFC goes from here, which brings me to UFC 303, Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. Finally, it's happening. The fight's going to be at 170, June 29th in Las Vegas. Alex Pereira wants to fight for the heavyweight title next month. Give it to him. Give it to him. I don't care. Dana White doesn't want to do it, but I think that I need to see this. I think the people need to see Alex Pereira at heavyweight. I don't know how it's going to go. I really don't. Or how it would go. Or if he'd even have enough time to get to that weight to fight in Brazil. But, I mean, who wouldn't want to see that? Michael Chandler, Conor McGregor, UFC 303, June 29th. It's finally happening, y'all. And honestly, I think the moment... I'm catching myself, that's a stupid thing to say. I'm saying the moment has passed, but the hype around it is probably just the same that it would have been however long ago that it should have been. But I think there is some truth to that, to where like the moment has passed. I mean, Conor hasn't fought in 3 years since he broke his leg against Poirier, and Poirier and Makhachev was announced too. So Poirier, y'all's boy, I'm in Louisiana, y'all's Louisiana boy, he gets his shot at the title. Let's see if he can get it done. And Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa was announced as well. They will be the co-main event in New Jersey that night. And I like Sean Strickland. I'm not that high on Paulo Costa. He just fought Robert Whittaker and lost that one by unanimous decision. Sean Strickland lost his title to Dricus du Plessis. And honestly, if you were asking me or anybody else, that fight was so close, and I think that Sean Strickland got robbed on that fight, that we need to see a rematch of Dricus du Plessis and Sean Strickland, and I'd much rather see that than see him go against Paulo Costa. Let me know what you think. Which of these 3 fights that were announced between McGregor, Chandler at UFC 303, and then Dustin Poirier and Islam Makhachev at 302, and Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa at 302 as well. Let me know what you think about that. Which one are you most excited to see? I think I know the answer to that if all of my Louisianans are watching. I'm excited to see McGregor versus Chandler, and we definitely will be previewing that here on Bad Corner Advice. So make sure you're subscribed and make sure you're tuned in every single Tuesday when I drop these episodes. But let's move from the UFC to boxing, because this week on Saturday we've got Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, and as I mentioned in my last episode, Ryan Garcia is kind of crazy, and I really cannot figure out if he's doing this for promos or if he's like actually losing his mind like this. But it's kind of sad because Ryan Garcia had a lot of hype around him, and then he lost that one fight to Davis and just kind of hasn't really been the same after that. And his Devin Haney has faced better competition than Ryan Garcia has, but you cannot negate the fact that Ryan Garcia has some of the fastest hands I've ever seen, and he hits really hard. He has 20 knockouts. He's 24-1. Haney is 31-0 with 15 knockouts. So you can't negate the fact that Ryan hits really hard and he has that knockout power. Technically and stylistically, Devin Haney is the better fighter, but again, you get one good shot on somebody and they're down. And on paper, they're very similar. But like I said, stylistically and technically, Devin Haney is the better fighter. But you can't let what Ryan Garcia is doing outside of the ring affect how you think he's going to do inside the ring. You cannot negate the fact that he has very fast hands and has knockout power. So this could go either way. And I think it's a lot closer than what people think it is. Let me look at the odds real fast. Devin Haney is minus 800 and Ryan Garcia is plus 550. And I don't know, like, I don't think that you can count him out like that. I really don't. And maybe it's a little bit of bias. I'm Mexican. We got to stick together. Just kidding. But, yeah, I don't think you can fully count Garcia out of this fight. But I will say that his antics outside of the ring are a little insane. They're a little crazy, and I saw this hilarious, this is why, I saw this hilarious interview that they did together in the same room, and I'll insert the clip.
NGQ, doing what I do, all white, looking nice, okay, come through.
I don't know if Ryan Garcia is taking the fight serious or not.
I just think it would be really funny. Actually hilarious if Ryan Garcia knocked out Devin Haney because of what he's doing outside the ring. But I guess we'll wait to see. We'll wait to see what happens coming up on Saturday, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. Let me make my pick. Plus 550. I feel like I want to put money on that just because. Let me see what it is by knockout. Ryan Garcia by knockout is plus 950. Plus 950, $10 will give you $100. So I think it's just because, like I said, stylistically and technically, Devin Haney is the better fighter. But I just feel like Ryan Garcia can knock him out. I really do. I know he hasn't lost yet. They've actually faced each other 6 times. This is literally, this is why I'm saying that these odds are not, we're discounting Ryan Garcia way too much. They've met in the amateurs. This is why I say that this fight can go either way. They fought each other 6 times in amateur fights. That series is 3-3. Ryan Garcia has won 3 times. Devin Haney has won 3 times. The last person to win was Devin Haney by decision. So again, I think that we are counting Ryan Garcia out way too much. And I'm going to go ahead and say Ryan Garcia by knockout this Saturday over Devin Haney. I'm doing it. Odds are plus 950. Put $10 on it. If it hits, you get $100. Put $5 on it. If it hits, you get 50. So do it, don't do it, I don't know. I'm going to do it. Ryan Garcia by knockout this Saturday, April 20th versus Devin Haney, and we will talk about it next week. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like this video, make sure you share it if you like it, and leave me your comments too. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you thought about UFC 300, and tell me what you think about Haney versus Garcia coming up this weekend, and I'll see you next week here on Bad Corner Advice.